Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And we're going to talk about the winds of change and everything is changing so damn quick. Just within the last couple days, there have been so many crazy changes in the world. I'm getting whiplash. I can't even keep track of what's going on.
Even people who were on one side with like pop culture are suddenly doing a 180 to the other side of pop culture. And it's just like, what the hell happened?
Like we're talking like all the wars are supposedly going to be ending and like China likes us again.
Oh, I don't know. I believe it when I see it.
Yeah, I mean, they're playing nice, right? But it's like everything is changing, and it's actually hitting the video game industry, the tech industry very hard as well.
And the comic book industry.
And the comic book industry. And basically, this is a new regime. I mean, again, Trump has not even been inaugurated again yet. And within days, we've got all these statements coming out. We got all these CEOs from all these tech companies calling them and congratulating. We got Tim Cook, who I never thought would be like, "Hey, Trump, what's up?" And he was.
You know, I think a lot of it's because they weren't allowed to do what they needed to do.
Yes.
They weren't allowed to get rid of people they needed to get rid of. They weren't allowed to make choices they needed to make because they were being held hostage. Because overall, it felt like for the last few years, like you were gagged. Like you weren't allowed to say any. I mean, we still said it anyway. You know, other people like us said it anyway. But for the most part, it's like you felt like you were gagged because if you dare call any of it out, immediately you were going to be like, careful.
Yep.
Careful. And I think people are like, they feel like they're allowed to breathe now. And I do warn them against doing the same thing on the opposite side. Just don't do that. Don't be them, but your version. But you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, shockingly, everything is changing. We're going to talk about that, but we're going to talk about people now who, it's kind of like after the pandemic, I think they want amnesty.
Yeah, this is what I want to talk about.
Yeah, this is all connected because I think they are seeing
There's a service dog in this picture. Great, because people are going to not care about you if you have a service dog. Oh, for fuck's sake!
For those of you who are listening to the audio version, we're going to talk about this.
God.
There's comic book Twitter's having a major meltdown, right? Like comic book Twitter's always been a lot further left than like normal Democrats. I mean, these people are like all the Tumblr people, right? But they are having the mother of all meltdowns. There are people out there talking about like, okay, guys, we got the suicide hotlines ready and we're just good. Please just survive another day. I'm like, you did this before, right? Don't you remember he was president before?
No, they're so brainwashed by misinformation. It's ridiculous, but. What always amuses me is the party of acceptance, they quote unquote say, was some of the most bigoted, racist, misogynistic, bullying pieces of crap I've ever seen in my life. And then they all go on about, but unity, guys. No, it's what they want is acceptance. You are supposed to accept them and their ideas and their beliefs, no matter how batshit they are. You're supposed to accept everything about them, but they don't have to accept anything about you. That's what that means. Yeah.
So let's talk about that because I think what we're going to see is a fundamental shift. A lot of the crazier people are going to be ousted. They've already been working on it. I mean, let's be honest. Since last year, a lot of these tech companies, especially, have been throwing people overboard. A lot of projects in Hollywood have gotten canceled. Oh, we ran out of money, guys. Honestly, it's not you. We just ran out of money. Oh, thank God.
I'm sorry. There's a service dog, and then why is there an angry cat at the bottom of the picture?
Oh,
that angry. No, I'm not talking about the women that are angry pussies. I'm talking about the cat. There's a cat. Like a cat is judging you.
The cat is judging you because that cat wanted.
And their faces are all the same.
Gender reassignment surgery.
They all have the same face.
Very unpleasant faces. So what we're going to talk about.
It's all the same.
We're going to talk about this, but even the cat. Before you get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. You'll get woohoo if you do.
Woohoo!
Go out to clownfish-com. Since we like capitalism and we like money, we're going to implore you to join Clownfish Minus.
I also like cats.
Yeah, you like
There's
cats.
no products with cats on it, but I really do like cats.
We need the Clownfish pussy shirt.
We have 4 cats.
We do have.
We should make a clownfish shirt with the cats on it.
We used to have enough
Cats
to form
clownfish.
Voltron, but unfortunately one of them passed. So
yeah.
Anyway, So let's talk. So for those of you again who are listening to the audio version, I got a tweet pulled up here from. Do not contact these people. By the way,
no, don't. Do not harass them, even though their names. Like, come on.
But. Comic book artist Liberal Jane here has an image of a bunch of diverse people and a service dog
and a cat
and an angry cat. And the girl in the middle is holding the sign, says, "I don't know how to convince you to care about other people."
And this is why I'm pissed. Okay, it's like you have not cared about anybody but yourselves this entire time. Like the toxicity, the bullshit, the lengths they've gone to try to cause people trouble, to get people blacklisted. We had the whisper networks and all that crap.
Yes.
They didn't care about anybody but themselves the entire time. Now, that being said, like I do care about people. Just because I don't think that, your bullshit should fly doesn't mean I don't care about people who are different than me. And contrary, I think a lot of people have cared about people that were different than them. They've been very respectful about people that were very different than them, which is why they haven't got to say as much as they wanted to say. Because, of course, you're not blaming everyone like that because of these little assholes in comics.
Yeah, I think and it's not, it's comics and games. It's like all facets of the entertainment industry. But I think what happened is you had people that were so far left it was beyond parody, and they actually made things worse for their groups or their situation because
you can never pass the purity test, and everybody was toxic for some reason.
I mean, when you have Brianna Wu coming out and talking about this, you done fucked up, right? I mean, Brianna Wu was the one of the instigators of Gamergate, I guess, but like they were coming after Brianna hard, and they turned around and was like, "Yeah, the left has gone too far." I'm like, "Oh yeah, they go too far when they come for you."
Right, but that's what I'm saying. They don't know how to convince you to care about other people. What they mean is, I don't know how to convince you to think that only think our way is what they mean, as they don't care about others themselves. That's what pisses me off. It's like, they keep implying that you don't care about people. Like, look, for us here, I can't speak for everybody, but Clownfish TV, I can tell you this much. We have no problem with people that are different than us. We have no problem with anybody who's not white, straight, or male. I don't care what race, gender, sexual orientation, any of that stuff you are. I don't care. We just go by, are you an asshole? And if you're an asshole and you're constantly harassing people and being a toxic, troll bag, telling everybody else that they're toxic troll bags, we're going to have a problem. But other than that, like, I have nothing against anybody different than me at all, other than behavior issues.
Yeah, and that's it. I mean, I judge people on their behavior, and we've seen some absolutely horrible behavior from people.
A lot of them are white Karens, which is ironic.
We have a lot of white Karens out there, pretending to speak for other groups. Now we've got a lot of these people turning on minorities now. They're turning on Latinos.
They're blaming them for everything. Men. I know.
It's like, what the hell?
But they're showing you who they are, which we've told you this. Yeah. We've seen this in pop culture and in comics and in video game stuff many, many, many times. We're going to put representation in things and diversity in the games. And basically, they're just doing self-inserts with extremist people that are working on the games. But when the people that they're representing, in quotes, have a problem with it, they don't like the representation, they get marginalized twice, because then they get told they're a white, straight white male, whatever, even though they're none of those things. And they get stepped over and depersoned and, labeled, and they get marginalized twice. And they are the literal representation that you're trying to portray. You're just doing it in such a cliche or ham-fisted way that they don't like it either. And that's what we've seen. They don't care. For all their talk about how they care about diversity and inclusion, they don't. They only care about their checkboxes and making sure that they are the ones that are in the game or whatever, and they're white. And if you represent, they don't care about you. I'm sorry. So don't you dare tell me about how you have to care about other people. You've never fucking cared about other people either. You've only cared about yourselves the whole time.
Yeah, and a lot of these people, we've seen them turn on each other, trying to get a cookie, and they all try to out marginalize each other. But beyond that,
it's sunshine.
Yeah, it's sunshine from you guys. I don't know if you've seen that. I can't remember in the YouTube channel.
I don't know, but you have to go look it up. It's
YouTube
hilarious.
Channel. It was sunshine with all the check boxes. So here's the thing, right? So for damn near 10 years, probably over 10 years, beyond marginalized groups, just, normal people have been terrorized by these wokies. They've been calling people Nazis and fascists. They've tried to get people fired from their jobs. They've publicly fantasized about violence. Some of them. And some of them have actually carried it out. I mean, look at what happened to the quartering. The guy goes to a gaming convention.
He was at a bar. He was
at a bar across the street from Gen Con or whatever, and this dude who was threatening him on Twitter, and Twitter never did a damn thing about it because they agreed with him. and he punched him.
Well, not just that. Like, talk about conventions in general. How many conventions have we seen now that if you are straight white and male, you aren't allowed to be a guest. You're not allowed to be in they have different meetups that you're not a part of.
Yes.
We've seen this,
people getting blacklisted, and then they give them like a bullshit reason. Like, I guess, now, this is my understanding. I don't know the whole story, but there were some people that were associated with Comicsgate that they gave them some bullshit reason why they couldn't table at the C2E2, and here it was because people were complaining about them being there.
Yeah, but people were being like a handful.
And like, I feel unsafe. I'm like, when have they ever physically attacked you?
This picture makes me feel unsafe. Even the cat
they
looks
all
like
look angry.
Even
the
cat's judging you.
Fuck you up, right?
But it's just like, I can tell you for a fact that I see more people getting threats from these people than ever from other people. You know what I'm saying? It's like people show up at a convention and they are very, very left. Most people don't care. Someone shows up at the convention and they think that they're Comicsgate or, Gamergate or whatever. And then they have like these meltdowns and targeted harassment campaigns.
Oh my God, the eggshells you have to walk on in the convention scene, it's just ridiculous. Like, they were actually using, pretty recently, I think, using masks to try to figure out like who was on the right and who was on the left. And it was kind of like, well, our convention, even though the pandemic is well past over, you got to wear a mask because we have to know you're one of the right people.
This post right here with the Batman, that thing definitely sums it up. It says some of the comics people screaming the loudest about the election participated heavily in cancel culture. They got off on hurting others for years. Yes, I don't want to hear one word about how you don't care about hurting other people because you fucking didn't. You didn't. I can tell you for a personal fucking fact. We did comics for years. We were at these events. We were guests, which we aren't allowed to be guests now because guess what? We were guests at these events for years. We hung out with these people. We were friends with some of these people. Some of these people knew us in person personally, right? Yeah. We went and helped them out. We promoted their shit. We even when we had a bigger platform than them before, we did what we could to help them. Always were their friends. Always were nice to them. Weren't even part of Comicsgate. All Kneon did was fucking ask, why are Marvel's sales numbers so bad? Should we be worried? Yeah. Literally all he did.
That's all I did.
And then right after that, we had no idea about the other stuff because we were mostly doing Disney stuff at the time. We weren't even paying attention.
Theme park blogging at that point. We weren't even paying attention.
And our own stuff. We weren't even paying attention. And people we knew that knew us personally, not just ones we had friends online for years. People who knew us and met us in conventions personally, were unfollowing us, blocking us, saying that we were all right and all this shit. We're like, what the fuck is going on?
I had people that I helped get work for block me on Twitter, and I didn't do a damn thing.
No, we never said anything bad. We just asked a question.
Yeah, editors that I've worked for because they had the blockchain set up, I think, but they were like almost everybody from IDW, and I did a bunch of work for IDW years ago. And I got along great with everybody over there, and I never had an unkind word to say about anybody over there. And they all blocked me.
Because somebody decided that asking a question based on fact somehow made you Comicsgate or whatever. Yeah. And then the joke's on them because when they fucking started doing that, we started giving information to Comicsgate people.
Yeah. I'm like,
because we're like, fine, you're going to blame us on it? Fuck you, we're going to do it.
Yeah.
So we finally just started our own channel, but we were one of the reasons some people had information because we got tired of their shit. Our friends turned on us, so fuck them. You didn't care about us then, and we were like your actual friends, and we didn't even do anything wrong. We didn't even know there was an issue. Instead of asking.
It was Clownfish all along.
It was Clownfish all along. And instead of asking us and coming up and saying, hey, did you hear about this? What do you think about that? Nope.
No, they just preemptively blocked us.
We're like, what the hell? And they won't answer. I'm like, what is going on?
I knew something was up, though, because like I said, that one convention we did, and it still sticks out. And you still get along with the person online, okay? So I don't want to go, call anybody out. But I remember it was a very awkward conversation because everybody was trying to feel out. This is 2015, 2016. We did conventions almost every weekend for years. It was a huge part of our income.
And we were guests at many.
We were guests at conventions.
And now you're not allowed to invite Clownfish because, apparently.
Oh, yeah, we got uninvited, I think.
Tekka was supposed to bring us because we defended them.
Yeah.
We defended them.
It just kind of got memory hold.
And then that just went away. And then they were going to invite us, and then we couldn't go last minute to one of the things, and then they were going to invite us again, and then they never answer now.
We used to get invited all the time because we did anime conventions, mostly. and comic conventions, but because we did the Disney stuff and we did the web comics, and they used to bring us in all the time. Like, we were busy. Like, we had to turn invites down. And then just like, 2015, 2016, just people were trying to, I think, feel out where we were at politically. And then once we started Clownfish TV, that was it. But I remember distinctly, we had that conversation. You and I had that conversation before we started putting our first videos up criticizing the comic book industry, because I said, we do this, we're out of the club.
We were already out of the club at that point because you asked a question.
Yeah.
Because
we were like really out of the club.
But nobody cared. Like, I mean, my point is, friends that were supposed to be your friends, they cared so little about you that when they were afraid to be associated with you because for asking a question, they unfollowed you and blocked you, and you didn't even do anything wrong because they were so afraid they were going to get blacklisted. And then they're like, well, if you cared about people, you don't get to fucking say that. You don't even get to fucking say that because people have been part of these cancellation mods. People have died. Because they committed suicide over this shit.
At Piscor.
That's what I was thinking of.
Took his own life.
You guys push people to all this stuff. These people didn't even know that I happened to be talking about. I was talking about something about. I don't even remember what it was now. And they started coming after me, harassing me, and it was like, "What the fuck is your problem?" I mean, I kicked their ass. And they backed the hell off. But I'm like, I don't even know you. What is your problem? Yes, that's exactly who it was.
Oh, yeah. And
she's
one of the ones freaking out now.
I shut her down fast. Like,
she joined a webcomic group.
Yeah, I was like, why is this person on webcomics?
Like, and we
well,
weren't
not only
even...
just harassed me, they were talking about something, and I was commenting, and I'm like, she isn't even from webcomics. And all of a sudden, she started jumping. I don't remember what it was.
They had a whole thread about, like, what do you think about Comicsgate? And you're like, well, I think, maybe they take it too far, but they got some good points or something like that.
I don't remember what it was.
Here comes Tamara Bonvillain.
Who I've never even seen before.
You didn't know who, I was like, oh, shit, not this
Yeah,
one.
but you thought and I kicked her ass.
Oh, you did kick her ass. Yeah.
She shut up. She left me alone.
But like you couldn't even say anything or whatever. So now these people are just in absolute despair, and it's making it like, here's the thing, I don't hate anybody based on their
I don't either.
Gender, religion, race, sex.
We have friends that are all different types across
the board, right?
We don't care. We really truly don't care.
And I mean, my thing is like, and we've always said, like, if you're an asshole,
that's where we care.
But we had a lot of people that were preemptively being asshole-ish to you just based on politics. And
you didn't have to be, for our case, we weren't even Republicans. Like
I'm not a Republican.
You still are, yeah.
No,
we always were like, you were always leaning more libertarian, but we were always like considered Democrats or like centrist left. And you take all the quizzes, it always comes out centrist left. I mean, that's where we are. It's where we've been. We have never changed.
No,
never changed.
I still like, and I talk about it. I mean, not to get super political, but like my politics are still stuck in the '90s. Like, I still feel like a '90s era Democrat.
Yeah, same.
But everything else has changed. I mean, so many of the people now, I mean, the people siding with Trump too, they were like 90s era Democrat. I mean, when you've got a Kennedy siding with Trump, right, you done fucked up.
Yeah.
Right? I mean,
and then you have Maria Shriver, who's also Kennedy backing Chris Pratt.
Yeah.
Her son-in-law.
She married Arnold Schwarzenegger, but then Arnold Schwarzenegger was backing Harris.
But you know what, though? Here's the thing, though. You know what? It just goes to prove that you could be married to somebody who had different opinions, and it was fine.
Oh yeah, that it used to be normal. Like, I mean, I don't think we've ever 100% seen eye to eye on politics.
Not everything, no.
And that's okay. It's and that's the way the country used to be. It used to be that for the most part you didn't see eye to eye on everything. Sometimes your person won, sometimes they lost, and it was kind of a push and a pull, and next time you'll get them. But now there's like so much, just everybody's so damn despondent. And, I don't know, because I think they know it's over. Like, it wasn't just that they were so happy that he got voted out last time. That's...
I know. I wink, wink. Yeah.
Put a little asterisk. Yeah. But they were so happy he was gone. They didn't think he could come back, and not only did he come back, but
you have to understand too.
He came back with a vengeance.
You have to understand too. Like, they're so warped. Like, these people are genuinely surprised. Like, they were so convinced because of who they listened to and the echo chambers they put themselves in, which we know they all are in echo chambers because they use blockchains to make sure their echo chamber perpetuates.
Yeah.
And they are genuinely surprised. And the thing is, it's like, if you would just do your basic research, maybe you are not on the side of right. Because I'm sorry, some of the behavior I've joked before, that's how villains behave. When you work in the shadows with these whisper networks and these secret groups, and that's not how what you would call the good guys would behave. They wouldn't behave in these backdoor, back room situations. And you guys have gone out and targeted people, businesses, comic artists, different, to try to cancel them, to try to cause them harm. Hell, that Dustborn game, that's one of the things they use is cancellation. Ha, 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 ha.
And they tell you why they do it. They want to separate you. And that's the thing. It's hard for me to feel bad for you or your situation.
It's karma.
When you wanted people to be harmed. You wanted it. You would have been thrilled if more people took their own lives.
Well, I'm saying, if people last time had said, I'm going to kill myself because, Biden won, and ironically, these people would have been like, do it. Do it. Do it then. Ha, 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 do it. And I've never seen such, just hatred and just downright cruelty and just like evil spiritedness as I've seen. Now, of course, that's not everyone. The ones I've been engaged with, like mostly was on Twitter and stuff like that. So you know how that gets.
It's a small percentage, but the problem is they're the loudest and they made the party look the worst. Right. And then they're like, I don't know how they could care about other people. No, people did care. See, that's the thing. People did care, and it got used against us.
People did care. Problem. And then it was, well, you don't want to be one of those terrible people, do you? And then it was all used.
Whatever we want.
It was used for control, and then it went from control to cancellation, and then they'd laugh like ha 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 ha. They're gonna lose their house or they're good, and stuff like that. And then, but if they're in a situation like that, well, oh my God, how dare you not care, you horrible people. It's like maybe stop being such a bunch of fucking assholes.
This is why your side lost so badly. So we're going to talk about the upside. The upside, and
sorry we got into it so long.
No, it's okay. So the upside is, at least for business, is I think business is actually going to be pretty good. And you're talking about people being held hostage. I think the CEOs of these video game companies and these tech companies have been held hostage by these activists because immediately, as soon as it was announced that Trump won, Take-Two Interactive, their CEO, is like, hey, this is going to be great for gaming because last time he was in charge, we made a lot more money and the regulations got relaxed and everybody's feeling pretty good about the economy. People are buying video games again. This is going to be great.
Well, you have to remember, too, like these CEOs and stuff, every time there's any kind of movement that was some activist movement, you had to hurry up and pledge allegiance because if you didn't, they would campaign to shut you down. Yeah. So, I mean, I'm sure they're happy that, it might go a little bit back to the center where it's back to normal, back to like, reality, I mean, you could sensibility, I guess.
You could bitch about Trump, but things were a lot better under Trump. And a lot of these people that are bitching right now, they got their jobs under the Trump administration because the extra money was there for charity, right? And a lot of these companies had all this venture capital and the DEI mandates and all that shit. And so
I still stand by DEI actually hurt the people you were trying to say you were protecting. And it caused way more bigotry than before. I still stand by that.
So I think, and we kind of saw tech self-correct last year. They threw a bunch of people overboard. Like, oh, guys, tech bubbles burst. Oh, no, hand wringing. Oh, we don't know what we're going to do. We got to lay off 20% of our staff, 30% of our staff. And look at who they laid off in most cases. Look at who they lay off in most cases. These were the people that were TikToking about taking 3-hour lunches and massages and bragging about how much the food cost and all that.
They were mad they had to bring their own lunch.
Oh my God.
I was like, are you kidding? Really?
I literally, in all the jobs I've had, there has only been one company I worked for that even had a cafeteria. And guess what? We had to fucking pay for our own fucking food. Mm-hmm. They had a cafeteria, but we had to buy our own food. That's how adulting works. I know you don't like it very much. So what they're really angry about, and they're going on about all shit, but we had a bunch of people that really were not ready to be in the workforce get jobs because it was expected. And I think people felt bad for them. And then they turned out to be vicious, malicious sons of bitches. And now people aren't going to feel bad for them. Now what's going to happen, and we're already kind of seeing it, especially in comics, I'm hearing a lot of people that were causing major problems back in 2018, 2019. They're not getting calls anymore because you're awful. It's not because you're gay. It's not because you're trans. It's because you're awful.
It's because you made everything about you.
Yeah.
And then when people were like, there's other people here,
You
well, you don't
terrorize
care
people.
about people. It's like, no. So you don't care either. You only care about what you and your friends want.
Right. And you terrorize people. And you preemptively decided that entire groups of people, which, geez, I thought that's what, something Nazis did. And you decided that entire groups of people were your enemy, that they need to be exterminated. They need to be, and they've actually bragged about that. We need to push all the cis white men out of the industry and blah, 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 blah. And everybody was too chicken shit to push back. Because if you would push back, like I remember Shopify, I remember them being like, yeah, we're not getting into politics. People were like, how dare you? All of your peers, all the other companies are getting into politics and you need to make a stand. And yeah, Shopify's still around. A lot of their competitors aren't.
Right. And the
I
thing is, because the general public, the silent majority, because you weren't allowed to say anything. Because if you said anything, oh my God, the silent majority got tired of it. They got tired of you not caring about them.
Like, look at this. This is coming from
all being about you.
Yeah, pretty much. This is coming from The Information. This is a tech blog that I've been reading for a while, and they're even saying I know they're very left and they don't like Trump, but they said tech has bought itself a more moderate San Francisco. A different breed of politician has risen to power, aided by the tech elite. Those officials promise a city that finally functions for normal citizens and businesses alike. Like, everybody is pivoting at least to center, because if you want to make money, you can't be a far left extremist. It's anti-money.
And I'm going to tell you, being a far right extremist isn't going to help either. Like, I'm just going to tell you there, going the other way isn't going to help either. You need to kind of go back towards the middle.
Yeah. So that's what's going to happen. And I think, really to get into the weeds here, for the Democratic Party to survive, they have to appeal to middle America again.
They have to go back to being what they were and not what they've become.
Right. And you can't have a bunch of crazies out there screaming for entire groups of people, white men. Now it's not just white men, but Latinos and black men too. All those people.
And white women who voted for Trump are stupid.
Yeah.
We're not educated. Well, basically, we're the only ones who are educated, yet we are too stupid to know that half the stuff we're talking about going to happen was never even said. That was never going to hapen. It was just, you lies that were fed to you by election campaign and the media, but yet everybody else is the uneducated, stupid people.
Yep. So things are going to change. They know they've lost power. They're losing their shit because they lost power. A lot of these people are not going to get hired until they grow the fuck up. And some of them,
growing the fuck up is a big part of it.
I think a lot of them are never going to, because some of them are in their 40s and 50s and they still haven't grown the fuck up. And it's not theirs anymore. The entertainment industry, they held it hostage for over 10 years, all of it, gaming and the blogs and the social media and the comics and the video game, all that stuff. And it's over. It's over. And that's, I think, more what they're upset about. Like, they know for the most part, they're probably going to be fine under Trump 2.0 because they did it before. They're pissed at how quickly everything is going back to normal.
It is very fast. Very fast.
Thank God. Everybody's like, oh, thank God this shit is over.
The fact that it is, and that there's not getting much pushback, it just indicates that people were tired of it in general. They just couldn't say anything.
I watched a video on The Hill, right? And I know that the one person on The Hill was, I think, Bernie Sanders' campaign manager or something, or PR manager. So they tend to lean a little more left. But they were talking with each other. I know the one guy doesn't like Trump at all, but he's like, there's a big difference between 2016 and 2024. They're like, 2016, people were blindsided and shocked, but and they were in the safe spaces and all that. And like, apparently some colleges had that. But he said, yeah, a lot of the young people, they're not in the safe spaces. They're not reacting as badly as they did back then.
A lot of them voted for Trump.
Yeah, a lot of them did. That's what he said. He said, yeah, it was like 17%. Increase over what they projected voted for Trump. And the one woman that was on there was like, yeah, like people aren't, rocking in the fetal position and threatening to kill themselves. That there are people, but they're actually, I think a lot of them are millennials, and a lot of the people in the comic book industry are older than 22 and they're freaking the fuck out and they're acting like it's 2016. And that's basically it. They thought it was going to be 2016, 2017 forever, where they could get to do whatever the hell they wanted to do, bitching about Trump or whatever, and then they would get handed a job because they had the right check boxes. All of it's over. It's all over. It's meritocracy.
Now meritocracy. Now that does not mean by any means that you have to be white, straight, and male to only get jobs.
Absolutely not.
They are on this delusional idiocy
not.
that is that, and that doesn't mean that people that are qualified are all are. If you're qualified and you're diverse, you're gonna be entitled to the job. You're gonna get jobs. This whole idiocy that people are going to hate you because now that we aren't forcing them to like us because of our check boxes, they're going to hate us. The reality is most people don't care. Like, most people aren't going to hate you for those things. I mean, are there people that are going to hate you for those things? I'm sure. Just like there's people that are going to hate you for being white, straight, or male. I'm sure there are. But the majority of people, they really don't care. Yeah. They just look at you and like, you're gonna be easy to work with? Are we gonna get along? We're gonna have fun? Are we gonna, are you cool? That's what they care about. Like, they care about you. They don't want bad things to happen to you. But if you're out there being a fucking asshole, they're not gonna care about you.
Yeah, that's it. Like,
it's more about your attitude than it is about your check boxes.
And I don't care if you hate Trump. You hate Trump. That's
you're allowed to.
You're allowed to. It's
means.
America. You're allowed to hate your leaders, right? But don't act like an asshole to other people unless they acted like an asshole first. Don't threaten to hurt people or wish for harm to come to people because they voted for somebody you don't like.
Yeah, it's sick. Some of the things I've been seeing, I'm like, oh my God. But this whole idea that if they voted for Trump, they don't care is a load of shit, because they've just got tired of you not caring about anybody else but yourselves, for the last few years, and they just voted against you. So, sorry. And I think that is why people voted the way they did.
How dare you? How dare you?
I don't care. I fucking dared.
All right. Are we done here?
Yeah.
Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. We'll talk later.
Bye.
Join the reef. Go to clownfishminus.com. That's clownfishminus.com. You will get exclusive access to podcasts and videos and comic strips and more, as well as merch discounts. Check it out. If you were a member, you could get this t-shirt, this dismal t-shirt on our website. You'd get a 10% discount on that. You can also join in the community on clownfishminus.com. Thank you so much for the support.